infamous as well when it was such a close one. It was down to that Kraken still that infamous finally got, that actually infamous got, and then pushed all the way and broke that vein crystal, securing themselves that win. Anyways, just a quick run through of the teams and the roster of Impunity. We have Quarter4, Kerchovs, Blue City, ZefQ, and Inked. And on the side of Popeyes, we have Aeon 222, Tezaboy 98, and Chingy, Alzero, and Zarano.
We do, and this first game, third and fourth place playoff, both teams did lose the semi-finals. They'll be thinking about what went wrong and how to improve. But without further ado, the draft is ready, so we're going to go into the draft.
So we are into draft right now. I'm not surprised if the side of Impunity would just follow suit of Enix's Vox ban, because Vox is just played so much on Aeon, and there is no reason to not ban it out. Forcing them, forcing Aeon down to that lesser carry like that of Adagio, or even something that he's not comfortable with like that of Kestrel.
Yeah, it makes sense to ban away Vox. So he's so strong playing Vox. Aeon is so good at playing Vox. They're going to ban away the Grace. Grace, we saw, even though Grace didn't win the last game, we saw the amount of heal that Grace gave is so much. You overdrive your Divine Intervention, gives about 900 heal, get an Echo, that's up again, and the cooldown's really short. It's only about 30 seconds when overdriven. Obviously, you get yourself a contraption, a crystal infusion, and that cooldown's reduced even further. So instead of the healers being picked up this game, they're being banned away. Glaive pick, I'd expect a Vox pick straight away.
Yeah,
so
I'll expect.
It's not been banned, so it's definitely going to be picked.
Definitely, but I expect Vox pickup on the side of Popeyes. But problem with that is that, we do actually see a Batiste. Whether or not Rome is another problem. They might ban out that Idris just to better secure that Vox. But if they do ban out that Idris, then on the side of Impunity, they might actually just pick out that Vox for themselves, and Quarter4 going onto that Rome Glaive, which we did see played very well. They are going for the meta ban right now. They are going for that Baron.
Yeah, we see Glaive, Batiste, really good first picks. No one gives away their composition. They're both good captains or good junglers. Glaive could also be played in the carry. Koshka, that's Batiste-Koshka combination is really strong. You almost can't play Koshka against the Batiste because he counters you really, really well. He has massive burst, he stops your movement, and he has a fearsome shade ultimate, which can stun you out of your ultimate. So if you can't pick Koshka against the Batiste, and Koshka plays really well with Batiste, you're going to ban it away, and obviously the Vox is going to be picked. Aeon wants to play that Vox, so they're just going to get it.
Yep, definitely. I do agree with you. Koshka does so well into that of Batiste. I do understand that Koshka being banned out. It is just a target ban for Chingy, but then they are neglecting the fact that Aeon just does so well on this Vox. On the side of Impunity, however, we do see a little change to that infamous Pope comp with that Castro, Samuel, and of course supporting their team will be Quarter4 on that Glaive pickup. Although I'm not all for that Samuel pickup into the Batiste. Just because Batiste counters Samuel so well. Like we said in the previous game, if Batiste do land and ordain on Samuel, when Samuel is in the Drifting Dark, then Samuel will be stunned out or would be forced to block that.
Drifting Dark, yeah. And I think they should go Catherine here, make that Crystal Power Batiste, go Catherine against the Kestrel, be a really strong combination. It's quite hard to play against this comp. The Kestrel, Samuel, they're going to try and outpoke, they're going to go Rome Batiste, and go for the Celeste to try and outpoke Kestrel, Samuel. This is going to be really hard for Popeyes to actually outpoke them. Obviously, we know Aeon is so comfortable on Vox that he'll be happy on Vox. I think she's going to have a little bit of trouble outpoking Samuel on Celeste, because obviously Kestrel can easily outpoke Vox. He just has a longer range, especially with Glimmer shots. And the two, there were no proper Roams being picked, actually. There's two heroes that have both been flexed into Rome, which is interesting to see. That means there isn't that much CC. There's a stun from Celeste and from Kestrel, but Batiste and Glaive both don't have as much stuns as, say, Catherine would, or roots and stuns that Lance has, or heals of Lyra Adagio. They're much more... They've really been flexed into captain, so it's going to be all about poke. There won't be that much stopping Celeste poking. There won't be that much stopping Samuel and Kestrel poking, because there aren't captains to body block. There aren't proper captains to body block and provide the peel that or heals that other captains would.
Yep, I understand where you're coming from, but just look at the team comps alone. I must say the team comp coming out from the side of Popeyes just look a tad stronger as compared to the one coming up from Impunity. Only because of that Batiste. The Batiste is really just a catalyst, the one that's bringing the entirety of Popeyes together. If we think about when a team fight breaks out, Glaive would have to go in for an afterburn. And if Batiste plays well with his Ordain, then Glaive would immediately almost be stand out of that afterburn, not being able to send anybody on the side of Popeyes into a team of 3. And of course, Celeste, we haven't quite... we saw Chingy on that mage before. We saw Chingy played on that Scarf a couple of times throughout the week itself, or in past weeks. Problem with that mage when Chingy is on it is that he do not have that early game aggression like he is when he's on that Grumjaw, or even that of Koshka. But one thing that I'm quite surprised not being picked out is actually that Grumjaw. Honestly, although the side of Popeyes did pick up the weapon carry Vox, but then I think Grumjaw, like, you can kind of work with double weapon carries as long as Aeon just invest in a bone saw per se, just to break down or just chip off that armor that will be coming up from Impunity if the side of Popeyes do run double weapon. It's just that Kirchhoff's on the Samuel is just so weak in the early game, or weaker as compared to, like, say, that of a Grumjaw, or even a Koshka. So there you go, a fight.
You see the first afterburn straight away from Borderbar. This is very low, but so is Borderbar. That's a good poke from Shiggy and Aeon. Deputy's probably going to pick up this mid-tree, and they're going to contest over it, and it was picked up by, actually, Shiggy managed to secure that one, so she will be happy on this Celeste to get that farm. But Impunity aren't finished. This Shiggy gets another tree in, and Impunity wants to try and just take the farm if they can. And in fact, one will go over to Shiggy, one will go over to Samuel, and so Impunity, a good aggression, good early invasion, but not quite what they wanted. They wanted another farm or kills, and they only got one back. And they're going to get this middle Elder Sprint, but that'll be it.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, Quarter 4 as a Glaive at level 1, we know that Tezzaboy or the General Batiste would not have that level 1 on that Ordain this early into game. And they are working to their early game comp with that Castro and Samuel. I mean, we are looking at DevQ on this Castro, and Castro, generally, it is known that Castro is so much, it's really just really strong early game hero, especially when you play Castro as the weapon carry instead of the crystal. So you don't have to wait, you know, for your active camo. There is really nothing. Your Glimmer Shots do a lot of damage, and you can kind of outpoke Aeon on this Vox, on that Castro. And of course, not discounting the fact that Quarter 4 has got an afterburn and has got a ganking potential. Kirchhoff has rotated up lane. They are looking for a fight.
Yeah, there's the boys in lane. Quarter 4 is looking for the afterburn onto Aeon. Aeon's doing well. He knows that Glaive's going to be there, so he's standing right at the top of the lane, stopping any afterburn from happening. Tezzaboy obviously keeping Fox nice and safe. If Glaive does decide to afterburn, he can Ordain, and then can try and Sonic zoom away, and so that Glaive, if he afterburns, actually can afterburn Fox towards his own turret instead of towards Kestrel. And Shiggy is probably going to secure this tree, and there's no way Sam can steal that if Popeyes is standing in the right position, which they were. And so now Tezzaboy's going to port home. Shiggy's going to wait for that mid to spawn and just keep farming up the jungle as well as she can. Samuel obviously is better than Celeste in the early game with that level 2 Drifting Dark power spike, as Shiggy will be happy to farm up.
Well, definitely, I do agree with you. Samuel is just so much stronger with that Drifting Dark in the early game, at least at level 2, and it's really hard to catch Samuel out at all in the early game, as long as Samuel kites and then reposition himself as a bandit.
Just in dark, he's going forwards in lane, just trying to get some poke onto Aeon, dragging him across the top. Damage if someone attacks him, but he wasn't attacked. Aeon's actually pretty much full health, and DefQ and Portable are going to be backing away. Aeon's just going to farm his way under turret as he can. Shingy's now in lane. Lovely core collapse, and there's the he's in one more basic. Wills the kill. First blood for Shingy. Portable can afterburn away, and fine. DefQ is now going to try and stop this wave pushing into turret. Shingy's going to try and poke him down with torpedoes. That's good poke onto DefQ, and Shingy wants a little bit of damage on this turret. Aeon's going to do the same, and so both teams are going to back off. No one going too aggressive, but good kill for Shingy. First blood going over to that Celeste, and he's going to be a bit greedy going for this mid, going for the tree, but a lovely stun onto Samuel. He's outside the different dark's finished. Aeon taking down. Glaive got the kill onto Batiste, but Shingy's going to port home. Kestrel's going to spot her, and Kestrel doesn't want to walk in the bush. Both teams are kind of fighting around each other. The stun from Shingy was premature, and now Shingy's on DefQ, then he can boost away. Shingy's go in. Good glimmer shots, whereas Aeon's get the kill onto Glaive. Goldminer will pick up Aeon with one more shot, and that will be Samuel getting the kill for that one. I think the Goldminer should have 200 more gold in it to take that kill. Lovely stun onto Kirchhoff's and the fountain to keep Shingy alive. Now they are going to back off and go and farm.
They are going to back off. That was such a long team fight, if I must be honest. But you know, honestly, both of these team fights, when it came out, it was just down to Chingy being in a very wrong position, just being a little bit greedy, going in for that mid treant when Chingy obviously could have backed out and backed away. Needed Aeon to come down, rotate down from lane to just support Chingy for that little bit. So honestly, just look at both of these teams. They have a rather similar team, except for the fact that Quarter 4 has got a better engage, whereas Tazaboy has got a better disengage, with Fearsome Shade and of course Ordained to stop Quarter 4 coming into the team. Problem is that with a Batiste, you need to play really aggressively. But then, however, going into the comp with DefQ and then Kirchhoff, if you are going to play aggressively, you may be outpoked. Especially like Malice and Verdict in Drifting Dark, and of course the displacement capabilities coming out from Glaive. Quarter 4 on this Glaive going in, Ordained is being placed.
They're going to try and upload Shingy, but it will just be slept by Samuel, so he's not going to be doing much for a little bit. Aeon going very low for that glimmer shot, and then keep up with confusion. Shingy going to not quite spot out, and then come a stun. Boy, he's full health. Aeon's quite low. Core collapse up to Lambert Kirchhoff, so he boots away around that core collapse. And now Popeyes, all three members are alive. Kirchhoff is quite healthy. They should be able to stop these minions from pushing into the tower. Good drifting dark, very defensive, just keeping him under the turret range. That's the stun from Oblivion. Sorry, the stun from the Ordained Samuel. That's the one-shot, one-kill. Get it!
Whoa!
There was a nice double stun from Tezaboy and from Shingy to lock Kirchhoff's in place so that Shingy could heal against the Supernova. But then the one-shot, one-kill from DefQ, even though he's only weapon, more than enough to take down Celeste, which was quite low. Now, DefQ really, Kestrel has fantastic damage to turrets, and that'll be a half-health turret from one quiver of arrows.
Well, yeah, definitely. That was a really good play coming out from Chingy with car collapsing on that. On Kirchhoff's, delivering a double stun, especially with Tazaboy's Ordained. Tazaboy is taken really, really low from the poke coming out from DefQ. But they are just going to back off right now.
They'll be fine. Both teams in lane at the moment. Kirchhoff's have drifted dark, made Oblivion up in 4 seconds, and Infusion ready to pop. He's doing the best position to fight. There's Infusion on Kestrel ready. There's Drifting Dark from Samuel. I expect to pop the Infusion soon. He's got Ordained to be stuck in the line. Wow, that's a massive damage onto Vox. Fearsome Chase to come out, and all the members of PT are quite low, except Kirchhoff, who's pretty much full health. Chingy's going to be trying to get a stun. Not quite going to use it yet. Chingy's still level 7. There's not many good to fight, especially against these 2 infusions of fast. Just Chingy's going to back off under turret. Definitely wants to put the turret down. Same with Kurtov. The turret will fall. There will be no contests. He won't be able to stop it. But DefQ's going to almost fall. So Superstorm missing out for Shiggy, so he won't be able to ult DefQ to dead, and they'll be able to back off. Impunity happy to get the turret. Kestrel picking up some nice items, and that was definitely a worthwhile infusion for DefQ and Kurchov's.
Definitely. I mean, it is a 300 gold for each members of the side of Impunity. That is definitely a good pickup. I mean, the early infusions we've been seeing quite a lot coming out from these teams. And generally when they pop an infusion, they won like several objectives, whether or not turret into gold mine or turret into sentry. But they are just going to be happy with this turret. Oh, a big wave is coming for. Ooh.
Yeah, there's the afterburn from Glaive. Okay, but that's a lovely touch from Celeste. Now we Glaive being picked up from Popeyes, countering the Impunity from Impunity by picking up their own. Celeste and Vox to get their low shot. DefQ's going low, but Celeste is going to slow down. Lovely on Dane, going to get not quite. Almost not many suspicious shades. It's not quite going to connect. Popeyes is going to try and get this turret. Going to hit by the one shot, one kill. Phantom will keep alive. Shiggy's going to go low. Samuel's doing really well to try and defend this turret. Popeyes got the kill from their infusions, but they didn't manage to push the turret because of Kestrel getting the one shot off, and Kurchov still full health, managing to defend it. Popeyes are going to port, so Shiggy's going to port home, almost dead, and Aeon's going to go in. He has got that tension mode proc ready if he wants to dive on. Kurchov's isn't going to risk it off. A 700 gold lead for Impunity, basically all in that first turret that they took down.
Well, yeah, I mean, although there are a few times we do see Quartervore just mispositioning a little after the afterburn and not allowing, I mean, as a Glaive, you generally have to do that, yeah? You go in for an afterburn and hopefully whoever they afterburn into your team, you just hope that your team kills that person so that your mispositioning or your unfavorable position unfavorable positioning pays off. Yeah, but then we do see a one shot, one kill coming out from the side of Impunity.
Slightly wide, and this will be a turret to get it, but Samuel wants to go in, it's up very interesting for Shiggy. He can land the combat, and the Thunderstorm, lovely down to Kurtos, but there's no safe for Shiggy. Gonna block up the Oblivion Samuel. Now there's the boy with more danger. 1 second, gonna land on the DefQ. DefQ stuck inside that little ring. Lovely quick collapse. That'll be a double for Fox. Can he get the triple? Glaive's gonna try and run away. All members of Popeyes are low, but Quartervore can't do anything. It's only a captain. Shiggy's gonna try and chase. Aeon's got Sonic Zoom up. Quartervore has got an afterburn in 5 seconds, so they're not gonna chase that. They're not gonna get the kill. But Popeyes could go for a gold mine. But Tesboy doesn't want to. He's too low on energy. Gonna get that full metal jacket. Glaive gonna pick that one up with the boot. Just one basic is enough. And the problem with Popeyes is they're not taking advantage of their kills. They got 2 kills. They forced Glaive to back off, and they tried to take a mid-trin and didn't get it. And that's all they got. And they didn't get anything else because they didn't hit the gold mine. They didn't try and go to the sentry. They didn't try and push the wave. They just tried to kill Glaive, couldn't do it, and then that was it. So slightly disappointing for Popeyes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the side of Popeyes hasn't been quite objective focus from what we've seen in the previous game. The side of Impunity, they are going for the gold mine. They are looking for the gold mine.
DefQ. Just spoken. They tried to take that gold mine without any contest from Popeyes. They thought they're going to be backing off farming by the turret. We can probably take this before they notice. But as it got spotted out, they decided to just back off and not go for it. Popeyes could do the same, and they are going to do the same. They're going to say we can sneak this. Glaive's going to get good vision on it. Kestrel has a one shot, one kill. Popeyes again going to try and sneak the gold mine. If they don't get it, they just back off, let the gold mine reset. And both teams seeing if they can, I doubt anyone's going to be able to sneak the gold mine now because both teams have tried it, and so they'll both be wary of the other team trying to do it. Fusions, we popped for Vox and the left. So when DefQ runs out, we're in good position for Popeyes to fight. All of are going to flare out. DefQ and Kurchov's afterburn onto the minion from Glaive. And Celeste is going to poke inside. DefQ managed to pick up, actually Quartervore picked up that. Minion, one shot, one kill, going slightly wide. Good dodge from Vox and Celeste. But there's the Afterburn, but on Sting, it will block the stuff, block the Dane on the Glaive. That's the Oblivion gonna just land. Celeste got was the one first, so that was lucky she wasn't slept out of that ultimate. It didn't land onto anyone, unfortunately. But for Celeste, one of our very low, still with the fountain though. So we'll be able to afterburn someone away and pop the fountain to keep himself alive. Shingy's gonna back off and push this wave up. No one getting a kill, no one's getting anything from that. Both teams being very passive.
Yeah, both teams are playing rather conservatively, although we do see a gold lead going over to the side of Popeyes. I mean, it was just down to that 3 kills they collected, or the 2 kills they collected, and then the turret. Ooh, the side of Impunity may be looking for something, but they are just going to exchange damages. Ooh, Chingy got hit by that 1-shot, 1 kill.
Yeah, definitely hit quite hard by that 1 shot. Oh, no, they're going to go in. This boy going to almost pull the fountain, keep him alive. So let's use that Snowstorm to get some poke onto DefQ. DefQ is going low. Kotov's still full health. And Boy has to back off. So does Aeon. He's going to get the fronts and probably going to have a look at the gold mine and notice that it's not being taken. And Celeste is in a horrible position. Actually, she's not. She's going to steal the gold mine. She's going to stay there smart. She's going to get 1 Helio. Going to try and steal. No, she's going to go DefQ actually. She's going to be dead to the left. Fox is going to go in on DefQ. He's going to try and 50 kills. He's coming up the gold mine. Now wait for it. He's going to come out. He's going to kill Kestrel. And he's going to get the double onto Samuel. And he's going to try and steal this away. He's not going to get it. He tried to use his ballistic stroke to secure the gold mine, but wasn't in range. That will be a triple kill for Fox, an ace for Popeyes, and they really turned that one around. Well played by Fox, really.
They did. I mean, Chingy was in there, was in the brush at the bottom, although it was a really premature, showing of Chingy coming out, probably trying to secure the kill on DefQ for the Castro, because Castro was really low. Core Collapse actually did miss, and that was one of the things that, went on for DefQ, and DefQ survived for quite a while, and then Aeon, then Tesla followed up with Chingy's death by picking up 3 kills for themselves. So, good play coming up from the side of Popeyes, being just that patient player, patient team. They just basically resetted that stagnation that we saw coming out from both of these teams, like not knowing whether or not to engage. They might be looking for another engage right now. 1 shot, 1 kill.
But yeah, 1 shot, 1 kill, just a little bit wide, and Shingy obviously is going to start the poke with lots of Helios just as a zoning, meaning that Impunity can't push, because if they do, they'll get blown up by a supernova, they'll be frostburn slowed, and then Celeste will be able to keep the poke on. Gershkov's going to try and get some Anderson verdicts off and build up. He actually hasn't got a broken myth yet, none of the Celeste, and no one's building up stats, they're just trying to get some damage. So we're going to use that Fist of Jade, there's the Echo, second Fist of Jade going to land onto Gershkov. DefQ's going to not quite fully into the fall to the Vox, and Vox getting another kill. Aeon showing why he's so comfortable on this Vox, just getting so many kills, building 10 and 2. Aeon just going in, getting those kills, securing the last hits, and Quarterbar wants to try and steal this Kraken away, but I don't think he's going to be able to get it. He's going to try an afterburn, but there's too much damage from Popeyes. And yeah, not quite, he went in. That was worth it for Flave. He tried his hardest. Ace for Popeyes and the Kraken.
That is the ace and the Kraken for the side of Popeyes. Just look at the immense wave just raging on for the side of Popeyes. And we must respect Aeon on this box. There is a reason the side of Enix has a constant ban on this box when they go up against the side of Popeyes. And it's really just, we see how comfortable Aeon is on this box, sitting at 11, 2, and 3. And the total kills across the board for them is just 14. So he has 100% kill participation. And let's see whether or not they can push into the base of Impunity.
Yeah, they're going to push this Kraken as best they can. If he's going to try and poke out, and just long enough on the box, Aeon's going to block him. He's going to get slapped up, and the 1-shot, 1 kill from Oblivion into 1-shot, 1 kill means the Popeyes don't have their box, they're just going to run. They're going to let Kraken take this one Vein Crystal turret, and they're not going to bother. If they stayed and tried to poke the turret down, they might have got this turret to maybe half health, but that's just not worth it. If they did die, give up the ace, give up their gold bounties, and Yeah, they lost the Vox. Vox is the main kill securer, so this is obviously quite good, but she can't catch up to someone anywhere near as well as Vox can. So yeah, it's interesting. One of us got journey boots on Glaive. We've seen that a little bit on support Glaive instead of going for the war treads because he feels like he needs to get out more than Kestrel and Samuel need to get out as a team.
Definitely. And I mean, because Glaive is usually played a lot with Idris. Idris generally would build that war threats anyways. So it may just be the common build when you're playing the roam Glaive, or it's just the consensus that Glaive has to be out in front, travel faster just to get those crucial afterburns in. They are the side of Impunity is just posturing up in lane looking for a team fight. They are just gonna just look at the damage on Aeon. 222.
Yes. It's a lot from Deku. He's got 4 damage jackets already. Vox only with 3 with 4 magical jacket. Crucible used, and the Fishing Spin is still available to teams. That's the first one. Gonna put the Echo, and then the second one, Deku. Oh, he can punch it out. Oh, Shade, well played. Vox, is gonna fall. And there's gonna be another kill going over against Deku. This Vox is doing so much damage. Boy very low, gonna force the mountain to use. Actually, still gonna die anyway. Kurtov's with that drifting dark splash damage. Madison verdicts. Aeon is going to chase. Kurtov's going to get a bit of sustain from basically attacking that minion. He's going to go towards his sentry. It's more like a 2v2 now. Shingy's going to go the long way. Aeon's going to tank the sentry, so Shingy is now on the back line. Aeon's probably going to fall, but there's a lovely call that's actually been blocked. So Aeon will be fine. Shingy got the stun, and they're not going to go for the turret. No, Popeyes deciding that would be a bad idea. We're just going to take the kill and possibly take Kraken. Do you think they're going to do it?
Yep, I think they are going to go for that Kraken. They have Glaive is up. Glaive and Kestrel is up. In a couple of seconds, Glaive is already up. Now it's Kestrel. One shot, one steal. Yep, one shot, one steal is a possibility. And in fact, Glimmer steal is as well. If not, then after steal. But they are going to... just look at the damage on Aeon.
He just tanked it. It's like, I can tank this. I'll be fine. I've got a full metal jacket. Even then, 660 damage. We didn't need to tank it. They took the Kraken before the afterburn could steal it, the one shot could steal it. I guess it wasn't in range to Glimmer shot to steal that, but it's good. Vox managed to port home, get an infusion, and be ready for this next fight. It's good that he's got defense on Kestrel because he can't now damage Kestrel. He has to out sustain. The reason he's got that poison shift, got that breaking point, he just wants to stack up in the fight. So we're going to get the name onto Kestrel. He knows what he has. One, no, wait for it. I'm out. Let's do it. Time good spear onto the game. That's the second spear. That's the second this time. The Ael's going to have to run away. Almost into the boot. And now Glaive punches the minion. Not what he wants to do. He wants to punch Aeon. Aeon's almost back up to healthy now. Kurtov's going to take half health from that. Sunstorm is going to fall. Not going to have some death.
Look at Aeon. Look at Aeon. Look at Aeon.
Tenor Boy's just racing. Aeon's got the turret. Aeon's going to get the main one shot. Not quite enough. Kestrel deciding not to port home. Thinking the one shot would do it, and he's just going to dodge the malice. He can't dodge a basic attack. And that will be the game going over to Popeyes.
That is an impressive showing coming out from the side of Popeyes, and this is the reason why the side of Enix generally would ban out Vox from Aeon 222. It's quite apparent now. Aeon is definitely a one-trick pony. Only going for that Vox because he is just so comfortable on that Vox. I mean, we did
win
see...
the Dodge, compared to him.
Well,
with weapon power dodge, yeah.
True, but then again, it's rather iffy when he's on weapon dodge. It was really just down to Chingy providing a lot of front support, that support damage, and then as a dodger, as long as no one bothers him, he then can put out damage. But then we see him on this Vox, and he's just up front. He's just, sonic zooming, starter stepping, just getting as many basic attacks in, as many mortal wounds in as he can on this Vox. He is already full build, sitting at 13, 4, and 5. He is definitely the man of the match.
Yeah, definitely. He knew how to play Vox. He's so comfortable on Vox that letting him get it in this game would be pretty crazy for Impunity. They've seen the power. They saw that, okay, yeah, Aeon 222, he knows how to play Vox. We saw him last week play Vox expertly. Sorry, saw him yesterday play Vox expertly. And so we're just going to ban it away. We're not going to let him play it. We're not going to try and counter it. He's obviously, you can counter Vox. You can try Idris is quite good against it. Black Feather can work. Baron's okay at countering Vox. But when you've got someone who's that comfortable on a hero, it's just not worth letting it get through.
Definitely, there is no way you should let it get through. In fact, you should force him on something that he's not very comfortable with, like that of Castro when he was playing up against Enix, and Enix manages to force Aeon into this Castro, and he was a lot of times just a sitting duck. So coming into this second round between Impunity and Popeyes, I hope the side of Impunity will ban out this Vox against this Aeon, just a targeted ban, just to force Aeon into something he's not as comfortable with. Yeah. And also one more thing though, Chingy is really good on those early game heroes. So I think the side of Impunity is kind of caught in a dilemma right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I think obviously they want to ban Vox, and then they can just try and counter Xingyi's early game junglers. Obviously, we saw Xingyi play Scarf and Celeste extremely well. So Xingyi he can play late game scaling junglers, and we know that Xingyi can play early game Grumpy or Koshka extremely well. But I think we're going to stop thinking about what Impunity are going to do, and the second draft is ready, so we're going to go into the draft.
Right, we are into draft right now. The first bans will be coming out from the side of Popeyes, followed by Impunity. That's on the right side or on the red side. I'm not surprised though if Popeyes do actually ban out that Castro, because that Castro gave them a whole lot of trouble. They are actually going for the Aegis ban.
Aegis ban, I think it makes sense if you want to maybe they want to pick Vox themselves. Yeah, obviously they want to pick Vox first pick, and I said if it's not banned now, I think Impunity are putting themselves at an unnecessary disadvantage, and they do smartly ban the Vox. Leaves open obviously Koshka, Grumpy, Glaive is very likely to be picked. We saw actually Baron, so they're leaving the Baron counters available. They're leaving Black Feather available. He's a good Baron counter. They're leaving. Obviously we saw Weapon Ringo play really well into a Baron. And there are still Baron counters. There's still Lyra. There's still they might pick Arden, because you don't want Arden with a Baron. They might pick an Arden now. That makes sense. But they're going to pick Lyra. Lyra's good, keeping your team healthy. If Baron does a basic attack, you do an Imperial Sigil, it evens out. Obviously, Baron have more basic attacks than you'll have Imperial Sigils, but it does help your team a lot. And they're going to ban Skye. That's really interesting. They haven't gone Catherine. They haven't. Skye's not good with Baron. They work well together, but it's not like a combination you immediately think of. So what do you think about that Skye ban?
Well, I think on the side of Impunity, they will be... I don't think a Catherine will be coming out at all. The Skye is probably banned out just so... I'm quite curious as to the Skye ban, because honestly, had they not picked up the Lyra as the first pick, then I do understand if the first ban would be that of Skye, because they are looking to pick up that Catherine. Then again, they might be banning out that Skye because they themselves want a Crystal Black Feather, even just a Crystal Batiste, just to go against this Baron. So we do actually see a Glaive, a ban coming out from the side of Popeyes. Just a target ban, I think, into that of Quatervor's Glaive.
Yep, Glaive is one of those heroes that's a good Baron counter as well. Go lane, weapon power Glaive, and you will counter Baron really well in the early game. And with a Lyra poked out as a Glaive with that Imperial Sigil. So lane Glaive, you don't want to face against that, so they're going to ban it away. They banned away two really good Baron counters in Imps and Glaive. I'd like to see Kestrel picked up now. We saw Kestrel really strong. She's really good against Baron. If you go Crystal Kestrel, you can outpoke Baron quite well, but then it's quite hard to... by Baron, you're going to get bursted by a double shot from Baron a bit too quickly, but obviously as Crystal Kestrel you get bursted by almost anyone, so I think they should go Ringo be a good pick as well, because you know they're not going to pick Ringo against you, so you could say that for the last pick, because you're not going to go Baron Ringo, so they might just go for a flexible, a Batiste as you said, or maybe a more tanky hero, like obviously Glaive's been banned, so they can't pick one of the best tank heroes. They might go for someone like a Rona. It's actually quite good to Baron.
For Impunity, I think there is another open choice as well, and that would be that Weapon Burst Grumpy. It is a valuable pick against a Baron in the later game, because you have your living armor stacks, and you are rather tanky, inherently tanky going up against this Baron. So look at a team coming out from the side of Impunity. They have the Lyra, they banned out that Sky, so they might go for that. They might go for the Grumpjaw. It's a possibility. A Grumpjaw is a possibility, or like we said, that Batiste, that Crystal Batiste is a thing. And of course, in support of that, Popeyes picking up that Baron, they are definitely, or would probably go for that Arden, although, or even that of Catherine, just to support, or just to, bring CCs onto the table, just to better support that Baron being picked up, or anything that Impunity might pick up that can stun or take Baron out really quickly. Catherine can be in the front line, stunning out that that person or that hero that the side of Impunity will pick out. We are going to restart draft. Stuff is going to restart. So what do you think? What do you think the side of Impunity will be picking out for the next? I mean, we talked about the Crystal Batiste being an option. We spoke about even that Grumpjaw or even Chingy on the Koshka may be an option for the side of Impunity.
Yeah, I think they might want to pick one of Shingy's heroes, because the laner you can pretty much just wait, because obviously, well, if you pick Baron, you're not going to pick up another laner. So you can just wait to see, what do you fancy play and what's good against their jungler, and you want to make sure Shingy has a comfortable hero like a Koshka or like a Grumpjaw. You could play Crystal, or you could play Weapon. You could do Grumpjaw as either, and so I think that makes sense to pick that up instead of going for Ringo and then trying to counter pick, because you're leaving the option of the Baron getting the exact composition he wants.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Baron, Taka, Arden, kind of. And if they've practiced that, they've got a competition they want to play. If you don't try and pick away some of those heroes now, then you're just going to leave it open so they can get pretty much whatever they want, and then you could be in a bad position, because comfort picks, we know, is really strong in Southeast Asia. Teams tend to prefer comfort picks over counter picks as long as they're not being hard countered.
Definitely. So I think on the side of Impunity, they should look into picking out that Koshka against Popeyes, because they are not banning it out right now. And we know Ching is really strong on that Koshka. If the side of Popeyes will actually respond with a mage being picked up, at least Koshka will do well against those mages in the early game. And with that Koshka being picked up, of course, with that Koshka being picked up, of course, I will be expecting a Castro being in lane just to counter that burst coming up from Baron. That looks like a rather suitable comp just to go against that Baron. But then again, we do not know the comp coming up from the side of Popeyes as well. They might settle for that Baron. They're banning out Glaive. Maybe they will be going in for Koshka as well. So if depriving them of Koshka would be the most suitable pick, or even they might go for the Crystal or Arden as their main roamer, Arden as a main roamer, and probably say a Batiste in that Crystal lineup, just to stop any engagement coming up from the side of Impunity on this Baron.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition they can do with the Baron. Baron Batiste is extremely strong, because you want to go someone like maybe like a Black Feather who can dive on top of Baron.
Yeah.
And if you go Batiste against that, and they're going to go Black Feather dive on top of Baron. And if you go Batiste against this, you force a Rose offensive charge of Black Feather to go out of the Ordained, which isn't exactly where he wants to use it. And you also force a Rose offensive charge to dodge your Fearsome Shade. So actually, a Roam Batiste would be amazing. They're going to go Roam Grace. Grace and Baron works really well together, because Baron goes generally Glass Cannon.
Yeah.
So Grace's heal gives him a lot more of his percentage health. He goes from half health to full, even when it's only about level 2 heal. And they still could go Crystal Batiste. It's not as effective as a Roam Batiste would have been. They could also go Samuel. We've seen a lot of Samuel assist now. Samuel, that makes sense.
Yep, Samuel is a good pickup on the side of Popeyes. It's just an extra poke in the early game. And it's just how Samuel does so much better against Crystal Black Feather, if that would be one, because Crystal Black Feather is generally used to counter that of Baron. It's just that the shield from your on point, and because you are going to poke from afar, you'll not be afraid of the Ordain coming out if they are going to go for the Batiste, or even just jump jets in, because if Baron do jump jets in, then you can Rose offensive away, or even just on point, nullifying a bit of the damage. They are going to go for that also.
We've seen the first Ozo for quite a while. Ozo Ozo obviously working extremely well with Lyra. That Carney luck giving him 30% extra healing.
Yeah.
And so 15% at level 1 up to 30% at level 12. And so that's really what synergizes really well with any healers. They've got Lyra. Obviously, it will synergize with the Fountain. It's good against Samuel because you can force him to back away from you with a lot of damage. You can ult Samuel and he'll be stunned, maybe out of his Drifting Dark if you position your ult correctly. It's good against Grace because you can jump around and you can jump around her Holy Nova.
Yeah.
I think it could work, but obviously we haven't seen Ozo for so long. He's not the strongest in the meta, so he doesn't do as much damage as, say, a Crystal Blackfeather would have done.
Yeah.
You're going to go Weapon Blackfeather, Crystal Ozo. It can jump on top of Baron. It will get a nice bit of barrier to try and tank the basic attacks from Baron, but it'll be quite hard to do. Baron can always jump jets out away from your ultimate, and even if it connects, he'll just block it because he's jump jetsing once it's level 8. And also, if you acro bounce and try and jump on top of Baron as the third bounce to get the most damage, if he jump jets under turret or between two turrets, your acro bouncing in, no one else can follow you. Blackfeather won't be able to follow that deep, and Baron will be between two turrets, and you're taking two turret shots while trying to kill a Baron. So it's going to be how well can Aeon on this Baron jump away at the right time so that Ozo is caught out by trying to dive in.
But then there is one thing coming up from Impunity, from the side of Impunity, especially this Ozo pickup that I really like. It's the fact that the side of Popeyes cannot build or will not be building Poison Shift to counter Ozo's healing. So that is one thing that's going for
the... He might be.
Aeon might build Poison Shift. Well, I mean, if the side... if Aeon on this Baron do pick up this Poison Shift, then he'll be creating this new meta. I mean, Spaghetti has picked up Serpent's Mask on his Baron, so we might see a possibility of Aeon. That's some sexy breathing coming out from Minimizer right there. We do see DevQ being in lane, going for the Weapon Blackfeather, and there is one thing, because we spoke about this before, previously when you go for an Ozo, and really the best way to counter an Ozo is just Poison Shift, or rather Mortal Wound. So the Kerchows on this Ozo as a last pick is definitely the good last pick, because he knows for sure that no one is going to build a Poison Shift on the side of Popeyes to counter him. Kerchows on this CP Ozo. So then I guess it's a good pick. Oh, Chingy may be looking for Kerchows at this point in time, but Chingy will just back off.
Chingy's level 2, so he's going to go in. And when you're Samuel, you're level 2, you want to go in. Obviously, Ozo is really strong in the early game, but not at level 1. You can't fight Samuel. Ozo was level 1, Samuel was level 2, so it was a great time for Shingy to go in. Spirit will be picked up by Shingy. Yeah, Shingy did manage to secure that Elder Tree, and Baron actually lost quite a lot of CS because Cordoval picked up a minion candy straight away. So I think Baron lost 3 of his first wave just because that minion candy, and they pushed Baron under turret. So the minions died to turret instead of Baron being able to get them. So that is good. They want to be able to deny Aeon as much farm as possible. So Cordoval will be staying in the lane quite a while, as well as Tezzaboy. So this leaves Ozo and Samuel free to either just farm up as they're doing, or to try and fight. Which I think they both kind of want to do. Ozo is strong in the early game, and so is Samuel. So both of the junglers want to either rotate out the lane, try and help their lane's pressure, or to fight the jungle and get some farm away.
I must say that Team Com coming up from the side of Impunity is just looking so much more balanced out. Oh, they are taken really low.
Because he's going to get stunned, but he's already selected his target, so we'll go on to Baron. Nice, Korean Circus get poked down, but now he has to wait 3 seconds until his acrobats is up again before he can even think about going in. As was going to port home, so Shingy now alone. I think that we might have been spotted porting home, but Goshov's not going to dive on the toes. He's going to get some poke on Shingy and then go back to his Cordovois. Cordovoir's going to port home. Cordovoir's just going to go back to the jungle, and again, Samuel Ozo, they want to fight in lane. They don't want to fight 1v1 in the jungle, especially someone like an Ozo. If Tezzaboy and Cordovoir are both in lane, say there were no minions for Ozo to bounce off, he will not beat Samuel in a 1v1. He won't beat anyone in a 1v1 if there's nothing for him to bounce off. And so he requires somebody to either be in lane, either minions in lane, more heroes in lane for him to actually fight against either this Baron or this Samuel.
Yep, I'm just hoping to see more aggression coming up from the side of Popeyes with this really strong comp with that Samuel who can provide the poke. Whereas on the side of Impunity, I'm not saying that the comp isn't that strong, but it's just, again, it's double melee with Quarterfall on the Lyra to just support you from back. What the Popeyes have over the side of Impunity is the poke, the capability of poke, and it's really strong for the side of Popeyes as well. We have Samuel that can just stay in Drifting Dark and just release Malice and Verdict after Malices and Verdicts, and there is really nothing Kurtos can do unless he jumps in and makes himself
going in. He's jumping onto top of Shingy, getting a lot of damage on that. Kurtos is going to almost fall. Doing exactly is going to keep himself alive just enough to secure the Baron and trade his life for getting the Baron. I think Ozo realised he was a little bit too deep, a little bit too low on health to go as far as he did, so he decided, okay, I'll just go further. I'll just dive under turret, but make sure I get a kill before I trade my life. So 1-for-1. No one will be too upset about that trade. Definitely just going to rotate down, grab something from Samuel's jungle. Samuel's going to try and steal it. There is a flare, and that will be... Actually, Samuel did secure that. No, it's Tesla Boy. And a double stun on Tony down. Samuel's still going to drift Dark up Baron. He's jump jetsing down. Nephew's going to fall. Quarterback going to back off, and Baron go up to his lane instead of helping out any further. And that's a nice extra kill. Traded over for Popeyes. That was Black Feather being a little bit overextended. The Drifting Dark was still available for Samuel. So when Black Feather tried to steal the mid away, Samuel could secure that and then get a kill. And there's a minion candy on the minion, so Kurtos tries to fight. He'll be in a bad spot protecting the contract to try and keep Kurtos alive. And Black Feather is now in lane. Baron has not got a Sword Blade. Defq has got a full Serpent's Mask. This is a good time for Defq to try and fight. Baron's going to run it down. He will pick up that Sword Blade without any trouble, and then rotate it back up to lane. But he's so slow that the wave might actually push into turret before it will. The wave will push quite far into turret before Baron is able to get back up to lane. He actually went through a reflex block and defense when Baron had enough control. He had 1,400. He could have built a Sword Blade. He went for reflex block and defense, which is very smart because Ozo's level 6. He's got a stun. You can't block it with the jump jets yet. You're only level 5. So instead of going damage, he's going smart decision, going for defense.
Yeah, I must commend him on that decision instead of going for that Sword Blade. But there is one thing about a comp coming up from the side of Impunity, and it's really just triple dive if you consider Arcane Passage as a form of engage.
Speaking of engage, Kurtos is going to go in. He's got a Shatter Glass and a lot of damage he's going to deal. He's got the heal from Lyra. Nice and healthy. He's almost going to fall. There's the bang from Ozo, and Samuel's actually going to land on Kurtos, so holding over the game, going to stun him up. Ozo just stunned and slept and stuck. Trying to jump around, but if you get stunned, you can't do that. So good disengage and re-engage from Popeyes. They're going to push this turret up. If you're going to try and do what you can, but Ail's going to get a double shot on the turret. Samuel's going to try and poke it out. Defq's taken damage from the Massive Verdict, so Boy's going to take turret shots because of that. Quarterfall almost going to fall, but he's not, and Defq will be able to secure these minions, and the turret is about 2/3 health.
Yeah, I must say though, it is just because they have to dive so deep. Side of Impunity at least, and when you dive that deep, you risk putting yourself in a unfavorable position. And I've been saying this since the last game as well. In the previous game, Impunity, especially Quarterfall on that glaive, a lot of times he just afterburns in, looking for that punt, but then kind of misses the punt, puts himself in this very weird position where all 3 carries can still go after him. And it's similar to what we're seeing now. We have like a triple poke comp, a poke comp, and then of course they have Tesla on Disgrace. They can provide so much damage reduction because a lot of times when Tesla do go in, his team is rather close by to him, so they get the directional damage reduction from Holy Shield. And of course, there you go again. Tesla is going in.
Going on to Defq, but those Kurtos in the bush. He's got his ultimate available, so to Samuel. Everyone is ready to fight, and there's an infusion ready to pop for Ozo. He hasn't used it yet. Samuel's now used his, so it looks like he's going to fight, going to break out in the lane. Kurtos just waiting for the waiting to use his Acro Bounce. He's got Shatter Glass first, which on Ozo you generally go after Broken Myth Eves. stay out damage. He's like, I've got enough to take the Lyra. And there's the Aggro Bounce going to go in on the Stiggy. Lots of damage there, but he's actually going to run away. Not going to use his doing Circus offensively. Just going to back off, get some poke. He didn't pop his infusion, so he can now go down to shop. No, he's not going to shop and get a block. He's just going to stay, stop this type for Black Feather's got an infusion, so that Curtis wants to wait to pop his. Still, Black Feather has one, and Aeon's got his infusion as well. Everyone's going to fight. There's the Vainglory. He's got up. Stunned by the Holy Nova for Grace. I'm kind of not going to land anyone. And I think he's going to go in most offensive and then fade apart very defensively. Impunity aren't going in together. That's a nice engagement with Grace. Let's going to back off. Impunity just need to go in together. When Ozo Acrobats is in, Black Feather most offensive is in, and then they can actually fight. Here's a man that's drifted up from Samuel. Holy Nova's going to stun up Ozo. She's going to get to my dimension. It will be fine. Kodrov is going to fall to the Baron. Definitely going to most offensive away. That's a lovely double shot from Baron. They're going to go on to Tessa Boy. The arcade passage going to get Quarterbot away. So it's focusing on Aeon. And so he's just going to use the arcade passage again. And that's how it's going to be. So Aeon going to be okay. Get the kill onto Lyra. Get the kill onto Ozo. And that's really good for Baron. He's got tier 2 defense on Ozo, which is smart. Because Ozo's going to be jumping on Baron. If Samuel's, if he can't get on Samuel, he's going to go straight to Baron.
Well, yeah, I mean, Karchos on this also, I was expecting a rather aggressive plays, but then not aggressive to the extent where you put yourself in that position when all 3 members of the side of Popeyes can just take you down. Granted, both carries on the side of Popeyes, they have very good evasive skills, and on top of the evasive skill, they have very good mobility as well. I mean, just talking about Grace alone, Grace can be the initiator, coming out from the side of Popeyes. She goes in with Benediction, slows everyone on the side of Popeyes, of Impunity. The only escape Impunity has on that Black Feather is the Rose offensive or a defensive feint of heart, which we saw. But then for Ozo, once you go in, it's quite difficult for you to get out, because unless you can acro bounce into your allies, which is not, a thing that you should do, because acro bounce is a really good engage. But the problem with Ozo, acro bouncing in, is that Baron can just jump jet away, put you in a just jeopardizes Ozo's positioning, and then all 3 members of Popeyes just jump onto Ozo, and Ozo gets taken down immediately. Death Q on this weapon Black Feather, yes, you have the sustain, you have the damage, you have breaking point, you have Serpent's Mask, but yet I don't see how you can actually resist the damage coming out from the side from Aeon 222 on this Baron. But we've seen Aeon on this Baron, his positioning sometimes is really effy, so it's really just down to late game whether or not Death Q or Karchos can catch his Baron out.
So there's the introduction up to Samuel. Karchos is going to go in onto Baron. He's going to go all the way, but Karchos is already going to be there, and that's the line of mention onto Aeon. Nice and healthy. Bang bang on the Temple Point. He's going to go low. Karchos is going to go in, but back off a little bit. The turret was destroyed by Samuel. So that's all Popeyes really wanted, but now they want more. They want to fight. That's the most effective over the wall. But Karchos is going in. Blackburn away, and Ozo went in back. This is now going to go in. Fade apart. They're diving in. That's how you play the comp. You both dive in. Ozo's fine. He's going to give away shutdown. But Grace is going to run. Definitely going to get the kill with the on point. That was Impunity playing their comp well, and then still Shiggy alive. He had to back off. DefQ is now trying to 1v1 this Samuel, and I think he can probably try it. He's got a Rose offensive charge. Made the 5 6 seconds. Samuel's going to defensively use that. Drifting Dark will be okay. He's going to clear this wave so DefQ can't push this turret. But that was much better from Impunity. They just Black Feather Rose offensive away defensively over the wall, and then Ozo went in.
Yeah.
But it was okay because Black Feather could go in once Ozo was tanking, and there was a pause. It's going to be both teams have 2 minutes of pause time, but that was a very quick pause. So then they have 1 minute 57 of pause time, and it was well played from DefQ. He waited, he saw Ozo was going in, Ozo was tanking, Ozo had a barrier, got a heal from Lyra, and then DefQ could come in on the back line and do a lot of damage while everyone was focusing Ozo. And then they got the kill, they traded 2 for 2, and I think Impunity will be much happy with how that fight went out.
Definitely. I mean, just look at Impunity's comp, and we've already spoken about the comp before. If Ozo do jump in, they need a follow-up from DefQ on this Black Feather. And of course, with that Lara, it's quite impossible for Lara to jump in until like late game when Lara has got all the defense in place.
Is going in. Turtle's going to dive onto Shingy. Lots of damage. He's casting up a big heal, and I think he's going to go in. Everyone's going lots of definitely diving in, but he will pick up the kill Aeon with the execute of the on point. And now Shingy's going to try and run away. Tesla is going to fall to this Ozo with no problems. Shingy's going to go into corner while probably going to get the kill. Nope, there's an Imperial System from low and he'll be fine. And that is Shingy trying to just put the gold mine, trying to get some heal, and he's going to try and run away with those balancing verdicts. Kochov's going to get boosted up. Black Feather's probably going to start the gold mine by himself. No, he's actually going to try and help them chase down Shingy. Shingy's running around, moving around the road. He didn't actually survive long enough, so he's not an ace. But here's Kochov's going to jump in. One farm exchange between them, and this is Shingy falling. There's a sentry. He's going to try and do what he can, but there's no question. The emote just for a bit of fun. And actually, Black Feather tried to push the wave, but because Shingy spent so long running to the backs of Impunity, that meant it wasn't an ace, and Nephew couldn't push the turret either. Nephew in a bit of a bad position here. He's going to be able to get out, but he wants to go in, and Impunity's going to back off. Ozo now with that Shatter Glass, Broken Myth. That's a lot of damage on Ozo. Samuel has now picked up defense. He realizes that he needs to get a full Aegis like Aeon has. So we see Baron, 2 damage items, 1 full defense item, just because of how strong this Ozo is.
Definitely. I mean, Kirchhoff is proving to be a threat, not in the early game, but after getting that Shatter Glass and Broken Myth and a few like tank items, a few defensive items, Ozo can stay in the fight for so long, especially when boosted by Quarterforce in Imperial Sigil. And although we saw an Echo and double Divine Intervention going off on Chingy, but it just didn't help that of Aeon at all, especially when fights take place in really tight places for Aeon, and Aeon has got no way to run out of it.
Yeah, and then Tesla was going to go in, but that's a Rose offensive away again for DefQ. The charges come up really quickly, so you can just use that to get out whenever you need it. That's now picked up this way, and that's the Tyrants for Aeon. That's a good damage spike for him. It's got 3 full damage items, probably looking to get a Tornado Trigger as the last damage. I doubt he's going to build defense on DefQ. But DefQ has got the sustain. He's got 2 full defense, 2 full damage. Probably going to build that into a poison shield, I'd expect, that attack speed. And so, obviously, Baron not going to get a shiv, and he might get it now for last item. I don't think it's worth it, because if you need 3 shots to guarantee a mortal wound will be applied.
Yeah.
If you get 3 shots on Ozo, he's going to have to almost back off immediately then. It's just so hard to build mortal wounds on Baron because it doesn't seem like
yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, because you do not have the attack speed to allocate a lot of basic attacks out onto the enemies at least, and a lot of your damage do come from your jump jets and then empowered 2 basic attacks afterwards. We are seeing Kirchhoff looking slightly better right now with the KDA at least, and the farm wise, not as much as Shingy, but then, you know, honestly, what happened in that previous fight that, ooh, Tesla is going in.
Triple Atlas by Tesla Boy, he's going to be happy with that. Comes up from down, very expensive. Going to get focused on DefQ. DefQ's going very low. Malus and Burns and Samuel are landing. Imperial Sigil was not actually used on DefQ. He's going to still be quite low. Atlas come up for Grace soon, and DefQ going to get nice and healthy from that. He wants to go in. Going to play the part on the back onto Baron, and there is a way. Ozo's going to jump in to land the Shingy. Cannon lands on no one actually. Good dodge from Ozo, and then Shingy's going to get healed up. No offensive will land. DefQ's diving in. Lots of damage from the Black Feather, and Ozo will pick up the kill. Aeon going to be DefQ will be told out by the arcane patches from Lyra. And Wadva wants to go in. They're actually going to chase down Tesla Boys, and Black Feather's going to chase down Baron by himself. Essentially not going to help him out. There's a turret for Aeon, so I doubt DefQ's going to go too deep. Tesla Boys going to try and run away. Holy Nova not going to land. DefQ not going to find Baron either, so this will be a turret for Impunity. Good dive from them. There was a nice Holy Nova from Grace onto Shingy, but it wasn't enough. DefQ and Kirchhoff can just stick onto Samuel so well that Samuel's not going to be able to get away from that. He needs that Frostburn to try and slow them down. But even then, DefQ with that overdriven Faint Apart. Just Faint Apart to Samuel, and your whole team are immune to slows. So Frostburn won't even do much against that Black Miller.
So we do see two ways of countering Baron. Checking Baron at least. I mean, Aeon is not the best Baron user we've seen. Do we agree on that? He's better at Fox, but then we've seen two suitable ways to actually check this Baron, and they'll be out-sustain the amount of damage he has, or just outburst him. The comp coming up from the side of Impunity is just working with that out-sustaining him. We have the Ozo that has got very high sustain from 3-ring circus, and of course a fortified health from acrobats. Okay, and then of course we have Lyra there, using Ozo's perk as well. Ooh, Lyra just...
I'll get back from Lyra. She's going to stun, and she's going to block up the steam. That's nice. Ozo's going to try and jump in, but Cordova's very low. I don't think he'll mind. And then Aeon is going to do so much damage. There's the bang from Ozo. It's going to be blocked, but you still get the kill on the bound. I see Lyra get that one with an Imperial Sigil. Holy Nova's going to be stun up Ozo. DefQ is low, and it's a sentry there. Samuel is pretty much full health. 765 burst heal from Lyra on Ozo. It seems like they need to build a poison shiv on someone. Tezaboy should get it or something, because that heal is basically a Grace ultimate on Lyra's burst A, which does it on Ozo. And that's just so much healing that Ozo doesn't even need to build an even harvest. He can just go full out damage. Aftershock doesn't need, just get a bit of defense and Shattered Glass, Broken Myth, and you'll be healed up by your Lyra.
And that is the problem right now. It is just that although Tezaboy has got a superior burst of heal, but then you have Carney Luck on Ozo, and then of course Imperial Sigil that follows that and works, synergizes so well with that perk. So Ozo can go really deep in. All Lyra has to do is just drop an Imperial Sigil where Ozo and DefQ is fighting. And the amount of sustain they have is just insane. It just out-sustained the amount of burst coming out from that Baron. They are looking to crack the base of Popeyes.
They are, and Popeyes are just going to back off. They don't want to try and go in too deep. They've got a good poke against this Kraken. Impunity are quite bad at pushing Kraken. Obviously, Ozo and Blackfeather. Blackfeather's on point. That's it. There's going to be double Atlas on Blackfeather and Ozo. So then our Cannon and the Oblivion going to be blocked. So then DefQ's going to have to run away. Popeyes are going to be happy to take them out, but they don't want more. They want kills. There's Koshov diving in onto Baron. Jumping gets away. Double shot. He's going to use the Bangarang onto Shinji. He's nice to counter because that's my dimension, and there's the fountain to keep Tezaboy alive. It's just about work, and Angel's going to fall, but so will Kershaws. Couldn't quite get enough help. Healer's going very low. There's a double for Blackfeather. There's another turret. Definitely going to fall. Not quite. He's going to be able to get away. He wants to go further. There's only Shingy available to try and defend this Kraken. Nice heal from Lyra, and Ozo's been able to full metal jacket on Baron. That's good. So actually, DefQ not backing off, being smart, getting this extra turret. Lyra has got her arm get passage if it all goes badly. But there's still 10 seconds on Grace, so Shingy really can't chase this. And that's a very good push for Impunity. 3 turrets for a Kraken. I'm sure they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, they did crack open the base of Popeyes with that Kraken. And we saw DefQ just now, just leaning at the edge of death. And now we look at DefQ. He's full health already, and that is just Imperial Sigils after Imperial Sigils. We do see Lyra sitting on a contraption and Echo as well. So I did see 2 Imperial Sigils coming out
She just bought it. She just bought it.
Okay, yeah. So we do see like Imperial Sigils with really short cooldown coming out from the side of Lyra as well. So Lyra is just dropping Imperial Sigil, although it did not keep Kershaws alive. But Kershaws, there was this point in time where Kershaws got really low. Lyra dropped the Imperial Sigil, and Kershaws could go in for that pickup on Aeon and help pick up Aeon, although Kershaws did go down. So just thinking about the whole team comp again, it's just out-sustaining all of the burst and all of the damage that Chingy or even Aeon can put out.
I think the fact that Baron built Breaking Point last time does make sense against this comp, because you're going to do a lot of damage against Ozo, because he's going to have a lot of health, so you can just keep bursting him. He's now picked up that double defense, double damage, double defense, picked up from DefQ and from Kershaws. Smart, they're all about sustain, they want to get their defense. But Baron with Breaking Point is going to build up quite a lot of stacks on Ozo, because he's going to be healed up by Lyra. We haven't got a poison shiv, so he's going to be healed an awful lot with that Echo Imperial Sigil. I reckon Kershaws could go probably 1,500 health with 2 bursts of Imperial Sigils, because there's no mortal wounds on anyone. except from Blackfeather. So that's countering the Grace Divine Intervention, which is a really good idea. I think Kirchhoff's is going to be, it's all on him to get on top of anyone. There's the Arcane Passage, lovely main from that. Lyra, and then she's going to go in, lots of damage. Now on the Woodward, actually, Definitely's almost going to fall. There's a fountain used by Woodward, Definitely will be okay. Lovely Divine Intervention onto Aeon, then Kirchhoff's going to have to pop it away. 760 heal, Def Cube, it's almost going to fall. Football, actually. Imperial Sigil is now up for Lyra. She echoed him and didn't quite manage to use it onto Blackfeather in time. Kirchhoff's going to not be able to go away. He's going to go in. He's not going to get the heal. Lyra popped it a bit too early before Ozo was actually inside of that heal. So Ozo did fall, and this will be a free Kraken going over to Popeyes. Obviously, Cordoba will attempt to steal with the Imperial Sigil, but I highly doubt that he's going to be able to get it. Obviously, he has got the Arcane Passage if he wants to go for a couple of basic attacks. But I doubt he'll get it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Chingy do spot quarter 4 out, but Chingy is low on energy. Kissy faces are being exchanged right now between Chingy and quarter 4. There you go, more kissy faces. Okay, Kraken will be taken. Oh,
he got it! He echoed the He did it!
Oh, wow.
To keep himself healthy. Because obviously, when someone tries to steal Kraken, you go and kill them, as Baron is doing now. And so what Podvar did was he healed himself up with Imperial Sigil. She went, great, you can't steal our Kraken with that. And then Lyra went, I've got an Echo, I'm going to Echo this. And to be fair, it does just give them 3 gold. But Baron's basically fully built, so I don't think they even mind that they almost gave away 3 gold. Because look, that's Kraken's still quite healthy. And Blackfeather's there, so they might get a turret and they might just win. So that was a great steal from Lyra. Definitely there. Ozo's nowhere near. Good Atlas on the Blackfeather, so he's going to have to back off a little bit. Baron's just taking this Kraken down, and I'm kind of going to use. Nephew wants the turret. Good heal from Lyra. Get Nephew up nice and healthy as the Kraken. Again, even though it is kind of free gold, I don't think gold's of much use, because Blackfeather's fully built. Blackfeather doesn't care about gold. Ozo just needs one more item. I think that'll probably be maybe an even harvest, maybe a clockwork. But Impunity don't care about gold, they care about winning the game and not letting Popeyes push. Oh, just be caught out. They're in the fastest run. Expecting triple stun coming over essentially. That's going to be something would actually not quite hit anyone. Aeon's going to get jumped on, and that'll be Tesla will fall. One of us very low. He's going to force the fountain, but it will not be enough. And then Aeon's falling very low here. Kotov's going to jump in. He's going to get the kill. Now Shingy's 1v2. Kotov's has got someone to jump off, and Shingy's going to try and run away. It will not be enough. That'll be a kill. That'll be an ace, and that'll be game 2. Going over to Impunity.
Yep, that would be game 2 for Impunity, setting the scores 1-all. It is quite an impressive showing coming out from Impunity after that first game that was pretty rough. And they kind of found Impunity. I think Impunity at its point in time, although I was skeptical of their draft at first, but then as the game went on, I kind of understood why they went with the Ozo pickup. It is not to just go in for that Baron, it is more for the sustain that Ozo has paired up with this Lyra. So, you know, props to Impunity for coming up with this rather odd and curious, peculiar draft, picking out that Ozo. Anyways, just looking through the builds, like you said, Aeon is already full build, but there is one thing I must say, really good ban coming out from Impunity for Aeon, just taking that Fox out of the total equation. Aeon is just not very strong on a lot of other weapon carries, barring that weapon Adagio that is kind of niche and iffy, and of course,